This is the world's fastest OLED gaming monitor. It is capable of a refresh rate of 720Hz, but there is a catch. It is only 24.5 inches in screen size and 1080p in resolution in 2026. But there's a very good reason why ASUS has designed this monitor as such, because it is intended to be a competitive eSports gaming monitor, which means that when you play competitive games, you don't really want to move your head or eyes about too much. You want to be still and be able to capture all the information on screen and put it into your brain for tracking down enemies, for looking at the minimap. Now, this monitor is using the latest Tandem WOLED panel from LG Display. It is capable of an HDR peak brightness of 1700 nits on a 1.5% window and 390 nits full screen. Now, the subpixel structure is still going to be RGWB rather than true RGB stripe, but that shouldn't be a problem because when you are playing games at 720 FPS, you won't be noticing the subpixel structure or any color fringing. And this is capable of HDR10 and also Dolby Vision in terms of the HDR support. Now, crucially, maybe you can see that for an ROG Swift monitor, this is the first time that ASUS has finally listened to feedback and put a more compact tabletop stand on the monitor itself. If you remember, previous ASUS ROG Swift line of monitors have always used a claw stand which takes up a bit more tabletop space, but this one has a smaller footprint, which should please many of you out there after requesting ASUS to do so for so long. And the reason why they have done this is, of course, because of the smaller form factor of this monitor. This is the ROG Swift OLED PG259QWS Ace. That's a mouthful. And other features on this monitor include the quick OSD menu so that esports users can quickly adjust certain settings. There are 3 pre-configured esports modes. For the first time, ASUS has also implemented what they call a position sensor on this PG259QWS Ace. What it is that, it is a digitized measurement of the position of the monitor. You can see the tilt, you can see the height, and also your distance from the monitor. And some of you are very particular about your monitor. I know I am, because sometimes I'm not sure whether the monitor is actually tilted slightly or not, or it is actually tilted forwards, or the height is just not quite right. And if you are the sort of person who go into a supermarket and check every egg, just like me, then you may appreciate this sort of more accurate digital measurement to allow you to set your monitor correctly according to your preference. And also there is a color management system called Hue Optimizer, which is 6-axis. And for those of you who are worried about OLED burn-in, there is OLED Care Pro on this monitor as well, which includes the upgraded Neo Proximity sensor, which I like so much. This will turn the screen black when you're away from the screen so that you can reduce the risk of OLED burn-in. Also, in terms of the power supply design, ASUS has implemented gallium nitride field effect transistor on this monitor, and this will dissipate heat in a more effective manner and so extend the OLED lifespan. In terms of the connections, it has the full bandwidth DisplayPort 2.1, USB R20 with 80 gigabits per second of bandwidth, 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, and also 1 USB hub with 1 up and 3 down. Now, the back of the monitor is very tastefully designed. There is transparent casing showcasing some of the internal components of the monitor, and also a beautifully illuminated ROG logo at the back as well. And after talking about this, let's go and talk about the other esports gaming monitor, Tandem WOLED, that ASUS has first introduced at Computex. This is the ROG Strix OLED XG259QWPG. I believe I've got the model number correct because I'm just like that. And this monitor will have a refresh rate of only 540Hz compared to the 720Hz on the flagship ROG Swift model, and also it only has a DisplayPort 1.4, albeit with DSC. It is also 24.5 inches. It is also 1080p in resolution. But if you are not keen on a glossy Tandem WOLED, ASUS has actually also introduced a couple of other QD OLED monitors in the same form factor but with a matte surface. Now, this is the ROG Strix OLED XG259 QD-PG. It uses a true RGB stripe QD OLED panel, which means that you will get better text clarity at this screen size. This is also 24.5 inches. It is also 1080p. It is capable of a refresh rate of slightly higher than the XG259 QWPG. So this is 560 Hz, whereas the Tandem WOLED version is 540 Hz. It has a DisplayPort 1.4 with two HDMI 2.1 ports. And also, I mentioned the matte coating earlier, and the reason why ASUS has implemented matte coating on this QD OLED panel, apparently it is done from factory by Samsung Display. The reason why they have chosen matte is to give the users more choices, and also some eSports players, they prefer a matte coating to reduce the amount of distractions on screen, especially when they are playing in a tournament under uncontrolled lighting. Now, if you can't afford this monitor, then there's a slightly more affordable version, which is the ROG Strix XG259 QD-NS Ace. And this is also using a pure RGB stripe QD OLED panel from Samsung Display, but it has a lower refresh rate of 360 Hz. Otherwise, most of the features are the same as the step-up XG259 QD-PG Ace. Besides this eSports monitor, ASUS has also introduced the world's first 27-inch 4K triple mode monitor. This is IPS based, so it is LCD, but at the very least you can get 3 resolutions and refresh rates in terms of the modes, so they call it the world's first 4K triple mode monitor. So at 4K resolution, which is 3840 times 2160, you can have a refresh rate of 240 Hz. You can drop down the resolution to QHD but increase the refresh rate to 400 Hz, and also you can drop the resolution down even further to 1080p or Full HD resolution and bump up the refresh rate to 488 Hz, giving you some sort of flexibility to see what type of games you want to play, what sort of refresh rate and resolution you need from your display. Obviously, it doesn't have local dimming at all, it is HLED dimming. But with this eSports monitor, I think what ASUS is trying to do is to actually tap into the notion that OLED is capable of such near instantaneous pixel response time that it offers such an innate high advantage over LCD-based monitors. So if you want to turn around here, what I'm going to show you is that the flagship ROG Swift PG259QWS Ace, it has actually been adopted as the official monitor of the PGL CS2 major tournament. This is a Counter-Strike 2 tournament that is taking place in Singapore in November, and for the first time they are going to be using OLED rather than the TN-based LCD panel. And here there's a very good demonstration of how and why OLED is superior to LCD, because this is the OLED screen on your right here and this is the LCD screen on your left. The OLED, because of its self-emissive capabilities, is just capable of true blacks, vibrant colors, wider viewing angles, near instantaneous pixel response time, giving you higher motion clarity, and just a host of advantages compared to a TN-based LCD panel that is capable of 600 Hz or even 1000 Hz. In fact, I have another technical video that actually compares an OLED versus an LCD in terms of gaming when it comes to picture quality, and you can watch my full comparison video by clicking here.